around.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Hey, Rego. How are you? Channel is really starting to blow up. I know it is. We're getting there. Oh, what are we doing now? We set a goal to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So we got 12 months to do it. If we can do that, then we will be in a position to be able to really have an impact on YouTube, particularly on the fish fam. My technician is messing around in the background here, and I don't know what's going on. He's changing everything. Let's see. There we go. Micro Blues, hello, hello, James Green. Thank you, James. I did post a video this morning. We have a new video. It's kind of on the same theme as the one just before it. All of this is very thematic. We're really kind of hammering the same issue a number of times in a number of ways. R3D, hello, hello. Nice to see you. Top chat. I want live chat. I see what we've done here. He's that's cool. Okay. Add user, add standard moderator, or oh, that's interesting. We now have two different levels of moderator: a managing moderator and a standing moderator. I think Father Fish had something to do with that. That's funny. So all new people are going to be listed as standard moderators. There's Gracie. Hi, Gracie. Standard, and we'll see if they get a wrench. I'm hoping they'll get a wrench. We'll see. It sometimes takes a little while to get the wrenches up. There's been some discussion about this as to why I give everybody a wrench, and partly it's because I don't want anybody to feel left out or feel like they're not trusted or not loved or whatever. But there's the flip side of that is people saying, well, that means anybody can come up and come in and just really screw things up. And I thought about that for a minute, and then a couple of people tried it, and within less than a second, 15 other moderators jumped all over them and knocked them down. So, it's working just fine. Thank you very much. Atkins, hello, Atkins. Nice to see you. Battle the Costia infestation. Well, I'm glad of that, Samuel. Sounds terrible. Brandon. Center my first tank using fatherfish method. Going fantastically. Well, bravo. Brandon. Fish Guy 5. Hello, Fish Guy 5. Nice to see you. So everybody is I think getting a wrench. I need to go back and see. They hadn't popped up yet. I don't know how it's gonna look. You know what? I think I will. Let me make one change. Remove as standard. Let's make Gracie a managing moderator and see what that looks like. So Gracie, if I've given you the power of God on my channel, I apologize deeply. I'm just just trying to figure out what this is all about. They have come up with a new category of moderator, and I have no idea what that is, but we'll find out. Kathleen Bronson. Hello, Kathleen. Nice to see you. Standard moderator. Question. The potting soil I have has some perlite in it. Is this okay? Yeah, perlite is a volcanic rock that is very high in mineralization. And I think it tends to dissolve, but being in the substrate is not a problem. It's little tiny white things that look like styrofoam. I always thought it was styrofoam, but it's not. It's actually a naturally occurring mineral or mineral compound. And I don't remember what's in it. I think I read what's in it, but it's all desirable stuff. So, no, perlite is not a problem at all. You can use Brandon Maloney just subscribe. Thank you, Brandon. Nice to have you on board. Perlite's fine. If your topsoil or potting soil has perlite, that's perfectly fine to use it. The fish guy got a wrench. Cool. Okay. Stroker Ace. Oh, it's a mod tool. Okay. Got it. Standard moderator. Well, Stroker, if I give you a mod tool, you'll know how to use it. And I don't know who you are. So I'm not sure what to do that. Funny stuff. Kathleen. We said hello to Kathleen. Craig's Catfish Cave. Hello, hello. Nice to see you. Geo Tank Mates. Yeah, he has a question about the perlite. He's also setting up a tank tonight to get ready for his fatherfish plants tomorrow. Yeah, I shipped out plants on Friday to a half a dozen people. I ran out of plants, and I've already got 2 sold. I've got 4 more. I've got 4 more portions of plants that I can sell this week. The plants are, they're stem plants. There are a minimum of 3 different species of stem plants, and I don't have any control over what they are. I get these from the top plant farmer in the country, and they give me a really good price on them, so I pass it on. You get 15 stem plants plus a bulb, one or another kind of bulb, either what is it called? The red lotus. or an eponogeton. You get one or the other. Plus another plant, which is a rooted plant. The rooted plants are like a $10 plant. The bulbs are $7 to $10. So you get an extra $20 or nearly $20. And I always put one or two extra plants in anyway. So here's the deal. You get 15 stem plants. You get a full order of supplements. You get 1,000-gallon order of sodium thiosulfate crystals, which is the easiest thing in the world to do. You drop one crystal in per gallon. And there are about 1,000 crystals in a little bag. And $15 shipping. So you get the extra shipping free. You get the sodium thiosulfate free. You get a bulb plant and a nice rooted plant, plus 15 three different species of stem plants for $84.95. Is that right? I think it's listed somewhere. I think it's $84.95. So it's a really good deal. If you go to father.fish, www.father.fish, you'll be able to order the package. Now, if you don't need the supplements, you really need the supplements, mind you. You really do. But if you don't want the supplements, you can buy just the plants for $50. You get 15 plants. You still get the free rooted and the free bulb with that deal. 15 plants, free rooted, free bulb for $50 plus 15 shipping. That's $65. So for another $24, you get a full order of supplement, free shipping on the supplement, plus a full order of sodium thiosulfate, free shipping on the sodium thiosulfate. Anyway, it's a good deal. And I've got 4 orders left, so buy them while they're still there. They may well sell out this evening. So, make sure if it's something you want, something you can use, get the order in right away. Father.fish is our new website. It's fabulous. A really cool website. You're going to love it. Go to the store and order. You can order the package, the plants, whatever. Let's see. Got two blah, 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 blah. Russ Burrs. Russ, we need to give Russ a wrench here. Got 2 dirted tanks, starting the 3rd shortly. Buried my first 2 fish in one day. Who'd have thought? Well, there you go. We are burying our fish. Anything that dies stays in the tank. It gets buried in the substrate. So you can put a little headstone there if you want to mark the to mark the fish. Fish do die after all. Now, if you have a problem and fish are dying in wholesale lots, you need to get on Discord and talk to us about it. Because you got a problem and we need to get to the bottom of it and fix it. You should not be losing fish routinely. Fish do die. Everything does. It happens in time. But if you've got fish that are obviously sick, if they're diseased in some way, they're not acting right, the tank is messy and disgusting, get on Discord. The link is, need to post the link. Somebody post the link. Get on Discord. There it is. Is that it? Yeah, there it is. The Nightbox got it. Get on there and get some help. We have lots of help. So you're not going to have any trouble Not going to have any trouble getting help. What else is here? The alias who set this command to be a class website does not exist. I don't know what that means. But I'm not doing it anyway, so I ain't worried about it. Stoker! Let's see what else. I gotta scroll down. Florian just got a 130 liter. Build it after the father fish method. The guys on Discord are amazingly helpful. Thank you. It's really true. I mean, we got a bunch of people over there who are world class. It's just really extraordinary. Sarah Breich. Catch the live stream in full next time. 4-year-old is sick and needs a book and a cuddle. Well, God bless. Make sure your little 4-year-old gets better quick. Praying for your baby. Is there such a thing? This is good. Gracie. Gracie has a wrench. Now, let's see what we did here. We're going to remove Gracie as a managing. Who's he what? So, it's a wrench and a wrench. Same thing. Okay. Remove a standard moderator. No, I want standard moderator. I don't know what we're doing. Gracie. Add as standard moderator. Good. Okay. Janice Lundberg. Hello. Let's see now. Janice is standard moderator. Okay. Cool. One of the most friendly Discords ever, Florian says. Nice place. Really is. GumbyCat42 on Discord. Oh, okay. That Sarah is GumbyCat42. Gotta go take care of sick kids. By all means, Sarah. We'll see you over on Discord. Fish Guy wants to know how sick. Janice, just purchased your aquarium dirt. I have your order right here. It will be filled tomorrow, Janice. It'll be in the mail tomorrow. You should get it Wednesday. Now, if you want to add plants to that and still get the deal, I will do that. If you need plants, go ahead and put the plant order in and make a little note. If you wind up paying extra, I will either refund it or give you extra plants, whichever you would prefer. So anybody who's already got, and I have 6 supplement orders that just came in this weekend. So anyone who's got a supplement order who wants the deal, go ahead and order the plants, make a note, and I'll take care of it. If you get billed extra, just say you want a refund for the difference. I'll be happy to do that. Or if you prefer, I can send you extra plants. And it'll be more than $15 worth. It'll be a good deal. Horizon says, stop messing with my neckbox. Who's doing that? I'm not doing that. Am I doing that? I'm not doing that. Janice Lundberg, hello. Live aquarium plants link. Father.fish. That'll take you to our website. You will find a store there. Click on the store, and that'll take you to our listing of all the items we have for sale, which includes not a whole lot right now, but it does include a mug. I gotta show you the mug. Let me get a mug here. Oh dear. Ugh. Oh, mug. There's a fatherfish mug with a fatherfish store on the other side. I don't remember how much it is. $24, I think, plus 10 for shipping. They've gone up like everything, but they're kind of cool with a blue interior. Didn't say stop. I said I was messing with the commands, making sure they. Okay, whatever. I don't know. Calamity. Message deleted by Nightbot. So. SMG Calamity. I think I'm going to hide that user. Should I do that? I could report. I don't know what the comment is. Oh, I do know. I can look at it. I don't know what to think of that. I'm going to report it because I think it's porno. Wolf toe. Could I harvest scuds from outdoor pond and add to aquarium? Absolutely. Water beetles, you got to be careful with water beetles. There are a lot of different kinds of water beetles. The big ones will eat fish. I mean, the big ones, not the little tiny ones. Little tiny ones are fine. The only issue is they're beetles, and they have wings, and that's how they get in the pond. They fly from pond to pond. So if you bring beetles in, you might wind up with them flying around the house. Just take that into consideration. But they're generally okay. Like I said, the big ones are, you don't want the big ones. The big ones can catch and eat your fish. The little tiny ones are okay though. Florian, it'll be my first tank. I'm quite unsure, but I'm less unsure because of the guys on Discord. I'm gathering plants and stones for landscape, trying to duplicate the father fish supplement. It's not hard to do, and you don't need to do it absolutely. I mean, my supplement varies somewhat depending on what I can get. There are certain things that I absolutely always have, but there are other things like worm castings that I can't always get. So sometimes they're there and sometimes they're not. All the basic stuff is always in it. So if you if you can't afford to buy it or live in another country or whatever, you can put it together yourself. Now, Laura, who is our biologist over on Discord, lives in Germany, and she is looking into setting up a business to be able to produce and sell the supplement. So hopefully within fairly short order, we're going to have that in hand, and we'll be able to provide the supplement to people in the EU and Great Britain and so forth. Oh, let's see. Samuel Schultz had a question, a few comments back. Let me go back and see if I can find it. Samuel. Sarah Nightbot. I'm not finding Samuel. There it is. Is sodium thiosulfate good for chlorine as well as chloramines? Yes, but there is a problem. Chloramines, of course, is a compound. It's a chlorine atom and an ammonia atom, which combine to create a chloramine molecule. The bond has to be broken between the chlorine and the ammonia in order to be able to get rid of both of them. By doubling the dosage of sodium thiosulfate, we believe that that bond is broken. that the chlorine is removed and that the ammonia can then be taken up by plants. Ammonia is taken up by plants. Now remember this, because one of the great anxieties about setting up a new tank is a so-called ammonia spike. An ammonia spike is a natural and normal function of any aquarium. If it is not being dealt with, it can become toxic to fish. How does it get dealt with? There are two basic ways. Number one, nitrifying bacteria will break it down from ammonia to nitrite. Another bacteria will break that down to nitrates. So you wind up with nitrates in your tank. Now, another bugaboo is nitrates. And I'm just here to tell you that you don't need to worry about nitrates until they hit about 250 parts per million. And at that point, you need to worry about it doubling, because it is at 500. Some people say 400. Some scientists who have studied this say 400 parts per million of nitrate will begin to affect particularly delicate fish. What are those delicate fish? They are saltwater fish, tetras. So, if you have a nitrate count of 125, 150, just blow through it. It's not an issue. It's not a problem. It comes under the authority of the plants. Plants will assimilate it. They'll take it in as nutrients. That's what plants do. That's what nitrates are. They are nutrients for plants. Back to the chlorine ammonia molecule. The sodium thiosulfate, to the best of our understanding, we'll be looking at this more carefully because we need to be able to measure it. But up to this point, we have been using double dosage, and it appears to be working. It breaks the molecule. The chlorine is dissipated immediately, and did I say chlorine? And the ammonia is taken up by the plants. Best I can offer you. Let's see, Benjamin. Hello, my 40-gallon tank with Father Fish method is almost 1 year old and it's getting better day by day. Plants like swords, crypts, jungle val are growing amazing. Best tank I ever had. Isn't it amazing? Amazing. The minute you trust nature and bring nature without reservation into your tank, it is like a symphony of love. It is extraordinary what happens. For so many years now, this so-called industry, which I believe is profoundly corrupted by greed, has instilled in fish keepers anxiety, apprehension, fear, and stress over anything natural, as though by playing God they could create something to sell you that would create a beautiful, whole, healthy, wholesome, delightful aquarium. And of course it doesn't work. And it doesn't work with absolute regularity. It doesn't work to such an extent that 90% of the people who try fail enough times in the first 90 days that they quit and won't go back. The other 10% learn how to deal with it. They learn how to make it work through a lot of effort, a lot of discipline, a lot of just hard work, getting in there and doing stuff on a regular daily basis, trying to keep this thing from turning into a catastrophe. Then there's the 1%, the 10% of the 10%. 1% of the people who start tanks figure out that this ought to be easy. It ought to be really simple. And it is. By replicating, putting in place the basic structures that nature has in place, it works. It works brilliantly. And you don't need to be a genius to do it now. Having said that, we have a group of geniuses who are currently working on Discord, researching all of the ins and outs, all of the minutiae of this system we've developed, in order to be able to document the scientific foundation of all of it. And we're going to be publishing that work, starting with leaves, starting with the nutrition that we put in our fatherfish system, which is the leaves of trees. The first unit will be finished in about 2 months, and it's going to break down in detail exactly what it is about leaves and what kinds of leaves make this system work. The unit after that will be on all of the micro life that's going on in that tank. And the third unit will be on the deep substrate. The supplements, the contents we put in it, what it does, how it works. We're going to resolve issues like, does oxygen need to be in the substrate? Can it even be put in the substrate? And what is the difference between anoxic and anaerobic? We're going to deal with those issues. It's going to be a Gordian knot. And it's going to take longer than I think we have allowed to deal with it all, because there's so many thorny issues there we're going to have to deal with. But that's the work. We have a team of professionals on board who are drilling their way down, putting together the details. We will be releasing 3 units, hopefully this year. The third unit may go into next year. It will be for sale. There's a substantial amount of effort that has gone on in this and will be going on. We need to be able to pay the people for their time and effort. But it's not going to be horribly expensive. There will be lots and lots and lots of graphics. In fact, we're going to even make a coloring book. So you'll be able to color in all the trees and leaves and bugs and just all of it. It's going to be great fun. It'll be exciting. It'll be informative. It will answer all the questions that everybody is asking all the time. So that's in the works. Elizabeth, my pennywort was just not growing in substrate. I was letting it float while deciding what to do. It took over the entire top of my 40 breeder. A pennywort is pennywort pennywort is a bog plant. Pennywort needs to be, the leaves need to be out of the water in order for it to really be able to take in the nutrients that it wants. Duckweed's another one. Riccia is another one. Baby tears is another one. These are all bog plants. They're all plants that want to have their feet soaking wet, but that want their nose up above the water level. They want to be able to breathe the air and get the sunlight directly. Brandon Funk, thank you for the $5 super chat. He says, I forgot to use conditioner to remove chlorine to moisten my dirt and rinse my sand. Do you think that will cause major issues? No, not at all. Because the chlorine will dissipate instantly. It's simply not going to stay there. It'll be gone. I can't do it. I've got arthritis in my fingers. Can't snap my fingers anymore. Lee Wilcox! Hey Lee, happy to see you. What an excellent question, Wolftoe. Like to know the answer too. All right, so what's Wolftoe's question? Did I do it? Somebody give me a timestamp. I don't even have timestamps on it. Let me put the timestamp on. There it is. Give me a timestamp on who is it? Wolftoe. McBailey, hello, hello. Beach Road Bum. Can you describe the lovely tank behind? Like how old, what's in it, and so forth. The tank behind me is 20 years old. Actually, it's older than that. It's 22 years old. It has never had, I can't say this because it's not true. I was going to say it's never had a water change. I did a water change when I brought it from Florida because I dropped the water level down to 1 inch. It's a 30-gallon. Dropped the water level down to 1 inch and lugged it up here. It had some fish and plants and whatnot in it. I've added more to it. The substrate has been added to one time about 7 or 8 years ago. I added sand. So it's now about almost 5 inches. A little better than 4 inches. It fouled once about 4 years ago. I did a video of it. Apparently some child came in and dumped a can of food in it. It was in the front lobby in my store. And I looked one day and it was sour. It was foul. So I used a net and I swirled as much of the food out as I could. Drained the water down, I think halfway, replaced it, put an extra couple of sponge filters in it. I either had one and put 2 more in, or I think I wound up with 3, it might have been 2. Within 2 days the water was clear. Within a week it was back to this condition. I never do anything. I don't have air going in it. I never clean the glass. Never. There are little snails in here that are keeping the glass clean. There's some little hoplo cats that are keeping the glass clean. I don't get algae in this tank. And I've got a light I leave on it 24/7. I have 3 4-foot LEDs, 40 watt, and then I've got another smaller 20 watt. The 20 watt stays on all the time. The others I turn out at night. But it's on from 8 in the morning until nearly midnight. It's at 16 hours a day. Kaler, hello Kaler, nice to see you. Sketty Nona, hello, hello. Good to see you, Sketty. Tom Will, hello Tom. What do you think works best? LED spotlights or strip lights? Yeah, I use them both. I like them both. I've got spotlights. I don't know if we can do this. Probably not. I have spotlights on this tank. Looks like spotlights, doesn't it? That's my baby betta tank. I've got about a dozen baby bettas. And they're almost half an inch now. You can't see them. It's too far away. And I got too much stuff in the way. But I got a couple of spots there that the tank in back of me has strips. I think, frankly, I prefer the spots because they're brighter. And I think the more light you can get, the better. The reality is we cannot duplicate the sun. And the sun beats down 12 hours a day on average. And we haven't got anything even close to that. So there are some tanks like the betta tank I just showed you. Those lights are on there 24/7. I never turn them out. And the fish remain active the whole time. They don't settle to the bottom. They're continuously active. And I have not noticed, there's a baby fish. I've not noticed that they're negatively affected by that at all. So we'll be studying that too. Let's see. Let me get down here a little bit. Oh, the critter cage on this card, that's Stroker. Yes. Did you get that worked out, by the way? I didn't follow up on that. My name Jeff. What's my favorite fish? Funny question. I don't have a favorite fish. Usually the favorite fish people have is based on something that they've done extremely well with or something that they really want. When I had my shop, one of my goals was to acquire every single fish I ever wanted. And I did that. I had goonch. I had abba. I had what's the big one from South America? You get old, your brain quits. I had all the big stuff, all the little stuff. I got to the point where there wasn't anything else I wanted. There are fish I really like. I really like the pygmy cichlids, the dwarf cichlids, the Tanganyikas, and the South Americans. I just think they're delightful fish. Live Spring Plant Bundle. My name's Jeff. Did I give you a wrench, Jeff? I did. Florian. I think I've done that too. I have. Let's see. Damajan. 40-gallon tank with father fish method. We did that. Pennywort. We did Pennywort. Pennywort likes to float. Yep. Catch the live stream. We did. You know, I'm way back. I'm at 6:08 and at 6:45. I'm way behind here. I don't know how that happened. I need to jump forward. Janice Lundberg is replying to something about plant eaters. Probably snails, I don't know. Mammy. I don't have real plants in there because I thought they'd turn them out. What kind of fish you got, Mammy? Line of sight. I'll tell you a secret, Zelko, about siphon. You need a 5 to 6 foot piece of half-inch hose. You can get it at Lowe's, Home Depot, whatever. Flexible, clear plastic flexible hose. About a 6 foot piece. And here's what you do. You crimp it over, hold it about hold it right at the mouth in the tank. Put your hand in the tank or hold it 6 inches above and put the hose in the tank if you don't want to get your hand wet. Take the other end and hold it up above the level of the water. Hold it to your mouth, do one of those, just a quick one, and it'll go whoop, and it'll stop right at the level of the water. And you got your hose up above the level of the water, so it doesn't come out. Now, put your thumb over the end of that and bring it down to your bucket. When you got it there, release your thumb. And it'll drain it down to wherever you want. Put your thumb back on it, bring it up, flip it over, put the ends together, flip it over and empty it in the bucket. You will never get water in your mouth. Try it. It's amazing. It's called, what's it called? Gravity, I guess. What plants did she have? Never leave food in the store because kids will try to feed. Well, they got it off the shelf. They took a can of food off the shelf, walked over to the tank and dumped it in. Jeremy Johnson. Hello, Jeremy. Jeremy's got a wrench. How long can I temporarily keep my new shipment of aquatic plants floating before I need to plant them? Upwards of a week. I mean, they're okay floating. They're stem plants. They're not. They will grow roots while they're floating. So they do. Mostly stem plants will grow without being rooted. In fact, certain stem plants, like the Ludwigia, prefer not to be rooted because their leaves want to be as close to the light as possible. So for certain very pretty, very nice, like red Ludwigia, which requires a lot of light, let them float. They'll do remarkably well. You'll be absolutely amazed. Never had so much success with plants and fish, says Damajan. Cheap, simple, and it works. Hope more people will try this. You betcha. Zelko, favorite video. What's your favorite video? Oh, the food incident. How's it going, Grandpa, says Jacob. Doing just dandy. Thank you, Jacob. Cichlids always fighting. That's what it is. Mammy's talking about her cichlids always fighting. Oh, I found wolf toes. Can a piece of fresh cut aloe vera be used as a stress coat? Well, I'm going to say no to that. That's a conditional no, but it's a no. And here's the reason. Aloe vera is used as a salve. You cut it open, the sap can be put on the skin as a salve. If you're putting it in the water, it's an organic material, and it's going to be attacked by bacteria, fungus, snails, everything else as an organic material. In fact, the snails and the plecostomus and the catfish will eat it. So simply putting it in the water column really doesn't accomplish much. Here's what you can do though. If you want to use it on a fish that has a skin condition, rub it directly on the fish. Use it topically. It's not going to hurt the fish, and it might even make a difference. But simply putting it in the water, it's like garlic is another example of the same thing. Putting garlic in the water really doesn't do anything because it's immediately attacked by bacteria, by fungus, by archaea, by all the little microfauna, microflora, by the snails, the catfish. Everything goes after it to eat it. It's when it is eaten that it becomes beneficial. So the trick is not to put liquid garlic in, but to put crushed garlic in. Crush it down into a paste and put the paste in. That way it will be eaten and it'll get the antibacterial properties into the gut of the fish or whatever animal is eating it, where it can work its magic. Fresh cut aloe. Thank you for that. Master Roulette needs to make a huge water change. Alright. Let's go back and figure out what this is all about here. Brandon. I did that. Gollymon is here. Hey Gollymon, you don't get it. Got a piece of fruit? Yeah, we did that. Okay. We need to make Wolf Toe a moderator. You will have a wrench sometime soon. Brandon has super chatted $5. Thank you, Brandon. We did that, I thought. We did, yes. I'm getting behind. I'm getting so far behind, I'm getting ahead of myself. Oh, we do. Nick Bailey. Hello, Nick. Toothpick Dinosaur. Found you on Discord. Bravo. You're going to be a moderator, and Nick Bailey is going to be a moderator. So we're still doing moderators, and YouTube has made it meaningful to me to be able to do this now. Gracie. Where did I get this? I saw this before and didn't get back to it. Gracie says, is there such a thing as too many plants? And the answer is no. Unless, there's a caveat. If you take a huge big basket full of plants and jam them into a tank, that ain't gonna work. A lot of them are gonna die. But if your tank is growing out and becoming thick with plants, it's doing so in such a way that each of those plants are able to remain alive. Now, they may lose lower leaves, and that often happens. The lower leaves are... Shimizu has subscribed. Thank you, Shimizu. The lower leaves there are two things that happen. Number one, they get blocked from the light by higher leaves. Number two, particularly with plants like Bacopa and Ledwigia, those are bog plants. They prefer to have their leaves growing out of the water and even up toward the top of the water, and they'll drop those lower leaves because they're not as productive as the higher leaves. It's one of the reasons why letting some of those kinds of plants float is actually more effective at keeping them healthy and keeping them from dropping leaves. It's not that the plant is sick. It's not that it's weak. It's not that it's stressed. It's not that there's anything wrong with it. It is simply doing what comes naturally, which is getting its leaves where they can get the most light and not wasting its energy on leaves that are less productive. So it's being smart, not endangered. If you have plants that are filling the tank, let it go. Don't prune it. Don't clean it. Don't cut it back. Let it go and let it grow. It will reach a climax condition where it will stop growing new plants because it can't handle anymore. It will maximize itself, in other words. And it does that absolutely automatically. It does it based on the space that's there, the light that's coming on, and the nutrition that's available. So let it go, let it grow. You cannot have too many plants growing in a tank. You can put too many in. You can jam them in, and that'll cause most of them to die. The rule of thumb by the Dutch system plant people is that the tank should be 75% plants. That's full bloom. That's full growth. So if you start out at 25%, I would suggest that would be the absolute minimum. 25% of the space that's available in the tank should have plants in it. That's frankly a lot of plants. One or two is not going to do it. You need 20 or 30. In a 10-gallon tank, 20 or 30. In a 50-gallon tank, 50 to 60 to 70. You need a lot of plants. That's what makes this deal such a good deal, because you can buy all the plants you need for whatever size tank you've got without breaking the budget. Now, one more thing you can do. You can't do it so much in temperate regions this time of the year, but in late spring, midsummer, and in the fall, you can collect plants from the wild, and they are perfectly effective to bring into your tank. Perfectly effective. You might trim them, clean them up a little bit, bring them in and put them in your tanks, and they will do amazingly well. You can do free plants, in other words. Master Black, I didn't get this. If I add tap water, will all of the bacteria die? Well, I recommend you never add more than 10% for that very reason. You don't want to stress the tank. 10%, if it has chlorine in it, that chlorine will dissipate virtually instantly. It simply will not be a problem. So if you limit the amount of water you put in to 10%, you will never have a problem, and you will not need to use any kind of chemicals. If you got chlorine in your water, you can set it in a bucket or a barrel or tub or something. for an hour or two or a day, and that chlorine will gas off, or you can put it directly in the tank. Now, if you do that, try spraying it in. That releases the chlorine almost before it hits the water. If you got a lot of chlorine in your water, you'll be able to smell it. If you can smell it, that's a sign it's no longer in the tank. Whatever you smell is out of the system. And that doesn't mean there's a whole lot left, because there may well not be a whole lot left. There may be very little left, but it's gassing off. And that's the important thing. So, no more than 10%. You can do 10%. 6 hours later, you can do another 10%. 6 hours after that, another 10%. Why 6 hours? It's an arbitrary number. It's simply a way of being safe. In point of fact, an hour is probably adequate. But I would stick with 6 hours. Oh, need to make a huge water change. Well, no more than 25%. And then when you put that 25 new back in, make sure it's treated, make sure there's no chlorine in it. 25%. Hey Jeremy, nice to see you. Jeremy, remove a standard water. I don't want to do that. Jeremy should have a wrench. Alright, we did the LO. Where are we at? 6:30. I'm half an hour behind. Let's see. We did the siphon with your mouth. We did Mammy. Can you add emoticons or usernames from the settings of your channel names? I don't know how you've done that. How did you put those flames in there, Master Black? That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Put live plants in, Mammy. It'll be good. You'll love it. 3G. A3G. Freaky Fish Lady. Hi, Freaky Fish Lady. Nice to see you. Blecky. It's Lee Wilcox. Good to see you, Master. Not allowed to have a dog. Dooby-doo. Nice. Stroker's got his new tank. Arapaima. Thank you, Florian. Yes, I've had Arapaima. The biggest I've had one was 2 foot. I've not been able to get them bigger than that. I've had red tails 3 foot plus, almost 4 foot. I've had Pacus 25 pounds, like that. I've had clown knives that were 3 foot. Honest to God. Caught wild in a pond in Venice, Florida. 3 foot long. Alligator gar. I've had a lot of gar. I've had, I think, all of the gar. Yeah, take the plunge now. You put some plants in. You're going to love it. Have I experimented with algae carpet on purpose, Clint? Good question, Clint. And yes, I have, and I really like it. I did especially in saltwater tanks, but I've done it in freshwater as well. The problem is to get the right kind of algae. That, like, not string algae is not among them. You don't want something that's going to fill the tank. There are algae that'll grow low and flat. They're a little hard to come by. But yeah, it is nice too. Let's see, we're done. We're done a standard moderator. Check ponds near apartment complexes. I found Ludwigias, swords, cubbygrass, and water lettuce in one pond. You betcha. That's right. It's amazing what you can find. And a lot of these plants that we like and use are in cold water climates. They're in places that freeze over in the winter. So they're not all tropical plants by a long shot. Let's see, Nick Bailey. I did it for a while, but it takes maintaining. Eventually it gets too dense, dies off, and then you got a lot of decay. That decay is beneficial. If you got a deep substrate, it's going to precipitate down into the sand. And if you got a food web in there, all of that becomes nutrition. It all becomes food for the microorganisms that are living in your tank. So don't clean out your tank. Leave it in there. Let the microorganisms, which you have brought in either from an existing tank that's full of them or from a pond, creek, river, lake, whatever, in the wild. Don't be afraid of Mother Nature. Don't be afraid of Mother Nature. She is your friend. She will be good to you and love you and care for you and be kind to your tank. Oh, well, there may be an occasional monster. But if there is, dip it out, take it out, feed it to a big fish, because big fish love them. If it's a little monster, your fish are going to eat it. Won't be a problem. Just really won't. Can I put leaves? Intake if weather is freezing. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You might put them in a jar. Do a resurrection jar. That'll get stuff back to life too. Bring it in the house, put it on the windowsill. Put leaves in it. If you can get some leaves out of a little body of water, put that in there. And let it go for, a day, a week, a month. And then put it in, and you'll be bringing lots of life into the tank. Nick Bailey. To get consistent green carpet algae, I needed to use a combo of a UV sterilizer and basically RO water to reduce the available minerals for the various brown algae. I see. Curiouser and curiouser. Huh. Interesting. I'll need to dig into this a little, Nick. Come on over. Do me a favor, please. Come on over to Discord and let's share this, because I want to get a sense of what you're doing here. Just do that if you wouldn't mind. Let's see if we can figure out what's going on. Am I going to do any videos on live foods? Followed microworm culture bid. I've had it run for over a year. Would love it if you could talk about grindle worms and daphne cultures. You know, I really need to do this. My problem is I'm not maintaining those cultures. And I'm at a point right now where, I've got some Dropsilla. And that's about it. I've got some vinegar eels. I'm just not set up yet to do it. I want to and I will. As I'm able to get these things, I'll do it. I promise you I'll do it. And if I can find other people who are doing it, we'll get them up here and talk about it. We're going to be getting into that in the second unit in our book. That'll be all of the microfauna and the macrofauna for that matter. So we're going to be dealing with a lot of it, and we will be wanting to be able to teach people how to culture a lot of things. So, yeah, absolutely, Rustan. Absolutely, we will do that. Snacky is here. You can have cold leaves, she says. You go, Snacky. Two-bar. What's your take on using Surface dwelling plants only, such as peace lilies and fruiting plants. A part of the problem is that they cover the tank and blanket out, so the rest of the tank becomes so dark it's hard to even see into it. So it's kind of problematic. Depends on what you're doing. If you have a pond where you're trying to, grow like microfauna, then that's a great way to do it. Generally speaking, it'll take over. Not all of them, but a lot of them will. Snacky is disagreeing with me, of course. She's saying they don't grow fast enough and don't consume enough nitrates. They do in a really strong tank. Snacky does not have a deep substrate tank yet. I don't believe. Lee says I'm not smart. Only followed fish, and he's always right. Never looked back since meeting him 4 years ago. All my tanks and my pond are thriving. Lee's such a good friend. We've been through a lot together, Lee. Best way to get rid of pest snails. Who's saying this? Gracie. I want to say that, yeah, all right, here we go. The best way to get rid of pest snails is to stop feeding them. If you're overrun by snails, it's because they're trying to keep up with the excess food you're putting in the tank. They are saving your tank from fouling. The only reason they're growing exponentially is because there's enough food in there to keep them fed and keep them growing. So reduce the amount of food you're feeding, and the snail population will miraculously diminish. Works like magic. In a Wallstead tank, does the water flow in and out of the dirt? In a Wallstead tank, which contains gravel as a cap, the water flows in and out of the substrate, yes. In a father fish tank, it does not. That's one of the fundamental differences. The Wallstead people, which include Bill Barr and all of his acolytes, disagree absolutely with the use of sand as a cap for a dirted tank, because they claim that anything that precipitates into it takes too long. My question to them is, how long is too long? If it takes a year for the precipitates to get down to the dirt, then in a year's time, the precipitates have gotten into the dirt. If you have mulm sitting on the top, add a little more sand, and that mulm will precipitate down into the sand. In other words, you'll have enough cap to be able to handle the bio load. You might also consider reducing feeding. The older that tank gets, the more balance occurs in it. Here's why this is important. In a gravel substrate dirted tank, at the end of 1 year, according to Wallstead's research and her book, the substrate is drained of all of its nutrients. It no longer is able to support plant growth because it's all been washed out into the water column and it's been used up. and nothing has replaced it. So, if your goal is to keep the tank for 1 year, fine. Use gravel. Won't hurt a thing, won't help a thing, but it won't hurt a thing. If your goal is to set up your tank so it will last year after year after year and still produce plants, still grow, still flourish, use sand. Do I have a favorite fish for a heaterless tank? I really don't have a favorite fish. There are certain kinds of fish I like. I've had them all. I've had everything I ever wanted, salt and freshwater. I had a shop for 15 years, and my goal was to get every fish I possibly could, and I did. And there's some I liked, some I didn't like, some I thought I'd like, I didn't like, some I didn't think I'd like, I liked. So it was kind of all over the place. But I got over it. I got over the favorite fish. No, I don't have a favorite fish. My favorite fish is typically whatever it is I have right now. And I haven't made it to a fish store in 6 years, 6 months. I've been shipping fish up from Florida with little success. So I'm going to have to make my way up to a fish store, I hope this week, and get some fish. I'm about done with trying to buy stuff online. You need some kind of shredders to break down detritus. What are you going to replace the snails with? Well, that's right. Schnacky's right about that. You got a lot of waste in there, and if the snails are not going to eat it, what is? Or is it going to simply rot and foul the tank? That's the issue. That's why you have snails. They are saving your sorry butt from fouling your tank, to put it bluntly. Sorry to be blunt. 5 minutes behind on chat. Is that... Oh yeah, I'm catching up. Let's see. What snails do I suggest? I don't think it really matters. There are some that you absolutely cannot have. Spixie is a good one to never have. Apple snails is another good one to never have. Never, never, never. Because they eat plants down to and including the roots. Very few other snails will eat live plants. They will eat the dead plants. They will act as shredders, but they're not going to, and they'll eat plants that are sick. You'll find holes in the plant where they've eaten up the dead part. But they're not eating favorite fish, horizon. My favorite fish is mandarin goby. You know, it's probably true, actually. That's probably true. I love mandarin goby. I ordered some a couple of weeks ago. They didn't come in, so as a result, I didn't go over to Ocean City and make a video about collecting mud from the ocean and water and all that stuff. But I'm going to do it this spring. We're going to do a saltwater tank this spring. And we're going to go over to the ocean, and we're going to collect there, and we're going to bring stuff back for it. Mermaids Chorus, hello. Dear Mermaids Chorus, standard moderator. You got it. Assassin snail. Yeah, they're hard to get rid of. Once you get them, they're hard to get rid of. You can't get rid of them. The trick is to keep up with it. Because once the babies grow up, if you get them before they start breeding them. Then you're able to stop the cycle. But you got to be diligent about it. You can't slack off. There are a lot of things like that. Hair algae is a good example. You can get rid of hair algae by simply pulling it out of the tank. Now, doing that one time doesn't get rid of it. Doing it 2 times doesn't get rid of it. Doing it 5 to 10 times does get rid of it. So you have to be persistent about things that you don't want in your tank. Dumping chemicals into poison always has side effects that are worse than the problem was to begin with. So don't do that. Take the long road. It will be the shorter road. It will certainly be the safer road. Gracie loves mystery snails. Yeah, I've got a bunch of them. I got them in this tank. I do too. I love them. Daddy-o doing well without a heater. Daddy-o will always do well without a heater. It's a cold water fish. It's a fish that lives. They can live down to in the 40s. Guppies. Steve Warren guppies. Love guppies. Goody Eye. For Goody Eye's favorite is Snacky's favorite is Goody Eyes. No way to achieve decomposition without anaerobic. Well, that's not quite true. It's a little more complicated, Zelko. You're on the right track. The reality is that in any aquatic environment, if the water is more than 2 inches deep, oxygen cannot permeate into that substrate beyond a matter of a couple of millimeters, maybe a half an inch tops. Deeper than that, it cannot go. It's too compacted, too tight, and the oxygen level at that rate is too thin to be able to be effective. Let's see, Shimazu has subscribed. Elizabeth Angus just super chatted $1.99. Thank you, Elizabeth, very, very much. That's very kind of you. Brandon Funk, I think I did your $5 chat. These super chats are beneficial, but I tell you what is more beneficial is buying some plants or some supplement or something that's going to benefit your tank. I mean, I appreciate the gifts, every bit of it. It is generous to a fault, and loving and kind, and I deeply, dearly appreciate it. But I also want you to get the benefit of your hard-earned dollars by spending them on something that will benefit your aquarium. So we're trying to do that. We will be selling live culture. We're not quite ready. Probably won't be until this spring. But we'll be selling live culture. So you won't have to go out to that mucky, dirty, grimy, miserable pond and dig out muck and grime. You'll be able to get it in a little plastic bag and dump it in your tank. We will do that for you at a premium. No, it won't be a premium. And it'll work. We hope. Plant sale. Will they have snails or snail eggs? I don't think so, Mammy. The snails, these plants are from a farm that is a very high level farm. They don't have snails on their farm. At least not in with their plants. So no, you're not going to get snails or snail eggs. And if you do, it ain't going to hurt anything, but you're not going to get them. It's not a guarantee, it's a promise. Elizabeth, I'll buy plants, always looking for plants. Wonderful. How we doing? Luke, check and see How many plant orders we got? See, we need 4, I think. I've got 2 that came in earlier on Discord. They may not be posted yet, though. So he may be too cold to order plants right now. I thermally ship. I ship with heat pack. So I can guarantee, I just shipped some plants to Alaska this weekend. I'll know next week how they did, but I have every confidence that they will arrive in good condition. I use bubble wrap. Many, many layers of bubble wrap. It's actually better than styrofoam because it is still air. And then I put heat packs in with air around the heat packs so the heat pack will continue to function. Josh said his plants are coming in tomorrow. They should get there tomorrow. I shipped on Friday. They ought to be there tomorrow. I don't know how long that Alaska shipment is going to take. Janice said she had a heat pack arrive frozen. It has to be a 72-hour heat pack. A 24-hour heat pack is not going to do a bit of good. Also, if the heat pack gets wet, it won't work. If it is sealed, it won't work. It has to, I wrap mine in paper towel loosely so that there's air around it, and I make sure water can't get to it. I do not ship the plants in water. I ship them in a sealed plastic bag. So there's no water in that packaging. So they should get to you warm. In 3 days, it should still be warm. Let's see. Hello, Aquatic Amigo. Josh. What? Talking about a lurophile of 3. What is he talking about? I see. You guys. 3 cats he's got. A lurophile. A cat lover. Papa Pez. Let's see what else. Imre. Hey Imre. Nice to see you. Still watch all your live streams. Still learning. Imre is a remarkable photographer. Imre, you have not made it onto Discord yet. I want a special gilt-edged invitation to you to please come on over to Discord. You will be able to post all of your videos and all of your pictures there. And we will absolutely adore having them. I want so much to be able to include your photographic work in my videos. Please do that. Delightful to have you. Chew. Hello, Chew. Do I name any of my fish? Haha. I never have. I don't believe I ever have. I had a cat. I had that cat for, I don't know, 14 years. At 12, a friend of mine said, "What's your cat's name?" And I said, "It doesn't have a name. It's a cat." So she named the cat. She named it Tom. Show you a picture of Tom, maybe. I don't know if I can do this. There's Tom with a poem. I will read the poem to you someday. I had a woman. Tom became the mascot of our shop. I had a woman who came in who did a painting, that painting you were just looking at, a painting of Tom, and a friend of hers read a poem about Tom, so I'll read the poem to you at some point. Tom the cat, yes. Ryan Oaks, those snails that hitch a ride on the plants, are they beneficial or do they eat the plants? They are beneficial. They are not plant eaters. If they were plant eaters and they came, I don't have plant eaters. I don't have any snails. I don't have any holes in any of my plants. I've got bladder snails, mystery snails, I think I've only got 3 different kinds of snails. What's the other one called? The round one. My brain is hopeless. I need to start taking something from my brain so that the words will stop falling down a hole. What time is it over? We'll probably go till 8 o'clock, Fish Guy. We did 2 hours last week. We'll probably do it again this week. In 2 hours, I'm pretty well burned out. Hello from Canada, Ryan. Eat, right, eat. I did get that. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think I have any plants that eat snails. What is it called? Somebody tell me. It was mentioned earlier. It's the one that's a whorl. God, isn't that awful? I knew the name of that snail when I was 6. And I'm now 82 and I can't remember it. There are a bunch of things like that. Brain just doesn't work anymore. What else? Have I kept fancy goldfish with live plants? Pretty tough keeping goldfish with live plants. They just want to chew them up. Trying to think if I've kept any plants with goldfish. I've not kept a lot of goldfish. I did have a bunch in the shop, and I really like them. I mean, some of the arandas I think are just magnificent. Eventually I'll get some nice ones and grow them out again, but no, I don't think I've kept any with plants. Now you can keep them with things like jungle vallisneria, Sagittarius, Amazon swords, the big, thick, heavy leaf plants. If you were feeding them green, spinach, kale, whatever, if you're providing an alternative nutrition for them, they'll eat that and not mess the big plants up so much. Lion's mane shrooms. Ooh. Harry the stray cat wants raw chicken. Janice says, Stuart, they need calcium. What is it? Oh yeah, snails need calcium. Rabbit snail. Oh, I do have rabbit snails. Yes, I do. Thank you, Fish Guy. Rabbit snail is, I have neorites too. Rabbit snail and neorites are both brackish water snails. The rabbit snail bears its young live. I've not had any show up. I've had them for about a year. The neorite will lay eggs, but the eggs will only hatch in brackish water. I've had them hatch in very, very hard fresh water, but that was kind of a fluke, I think. What affects the color of the snail in their shells? Calcium. I don't know. Flavonoids, maybe. I don't know. We're doing a big thing on flavonoids right now on the leaves. You know, the leaf when it comes off the tree is full of color, like maple leaves are red. There's a theory that that color is flavonoids, and that those flavonoids, if they get them into the water before they die, disintegrate, that they can color enhance the fish and the other little critters that are eating them. Oh, Nick says hornwort does fine with my goldings. They eat on it sometimes, but it grows so fast it doesn't matter. Yeah, that's a good point. If you have plants, and hornwort's a good one. And goldfish are not all that thrilled with hornwort. It's not really all that edible. It's sort of like eating pine needles. Not very nutritious and a little awkward. Ah, right, Freaky Fish Later. Goldfish don't eat plants because it's a beautiful vowel I got from you, Father Fish. I think you also got some Sagittarius from me, which is a magnificent plant. Hard to come by. Passing wind. You do not need to treat plants that come in from the wild. If you're afraid of them, put them in a jar or a bucket for a few days to see what's on them. But if you treat them, that means you're poisoning something. You're putting toxin in there, and you really don't want to do that. It will it will negatively impact the plant as well as your tank. Yeah, Janice is saying the female neorites cover everything with eggs. Yeah, they do. I've noticed I've got maybe half a dozen neorites and no eggs, so I guess they're all male. Can hornwort be planted? Does it have roots? I don't think so. It can be planted, but I'm not sure it roots. I guess it does, from the nodules. If it has nodules, it roots. How's that? Fin and Filters, hello, hello. How much is your shipping? Well, it's $15. And I ship in a standard medium priority box, a flat rate. It's a flat rate medium priority box. It's actually $17 plus $3 for the heat pack, but I charge $15. I don't charge the $20. I should, but I don't. Stuart, on a father fish system, do you keep the various fish that other systems call a cleanup crew, or they're not particularly needed because the tank cleans itself? No, absolutely keep the cleanup crew, because that's not what they're doing. They're not really cleaning up. They're shredding. They're tearing down. They're breaking things down into smaller portions, eating them and pooping them out so that the tinier life can consume it and further break it down. So they're part of the chain. Wipe them off and throw them in, says John Bradley. There you go. Vinoxky is here. Hey, Vinoxky. Nice to see you. Good to have you here. ABS Aquatics. Hey, ABS. Nice to see you. Landscape Pro. What's up, Fatherfish? Great knowledge. Keep up the good work. We need to give Landscape Pro a wrench. Get him wrenched. We are at the bottom, and we got time left. So we need to do a rant. Need to do a rant. Ronnie, I've almost fully transitioned my tanks to a more natural system thanks to your advice. Still a little hesitant to throw things from the local Los Angeles creeks in there, but slowly getting there. I know. It takes a while. You gotta watch my video I put out today. It's really about all that. It's about trusting nature. I mean, if you can't trust nature, who in the world can you trust? The guy who's been at it for 15 minutes or 15 years? I mean, nature has been at it for get this, 3 billion with a B, 3 billion years. You think they got something together? In 3 billion years? Come on, guys. I mean, really. Here's the thing. If you're trying to live forever, you're gonna be disappointed. Unless you've got some belief in an afterlife, which I personally do. If you try to live here on this planet forever, you're going to absolutely fail. And if you're trying to keep everything in your tank alive forever, you're going to absolutely fail. It's not a matter of that. It's not a matter of preventing things from dying. You want to rant? Here's the rant. It's a matter of taking advantage of the stability and the integrity that nature provides in any given environment, up to and including catastrophe. Because catastrophe strikes. Inevitably, catastrophe strikes. And here's the lesson from nature. When catastrophe strikes, take the minimum action necessary to save yourself, to save what's at risk, and to hold the line. The minimum action necessary. And here's why. Because that natural system facing a catastrophe is doing everything it can to overcome the catastrophe. You need provide but a little bit of help in order to prevent a worse catastrophe. And you will find that minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day, whatever went wrong is going to get better. It's going to improve. It's going to get back to normal. Now, I know sometimes the catastrophe is awful and you lose every fish in the tank. Well, I know how broken-hearted that can be. Cry about it. Sit down and have a good cry over it. Think about the wonderful fish you have. And then when you get over your emotional trauma to the point where you can function, don't just jump in there and do something. Because whatever it is you do is going to be wrong. It's going to make it worse. Wait, sit, calm yourself, and then start. If it's a whole lot of them, start taking them out. If it's not, press them down into the sand. If the water is disgusting, take 25% of it out, replace it with 25% new water. Get some filters going in there, some bubblers, get it bubbling, get it working, and then sit back and wait. If you've got some fish alive and you're afraid they might not make it, take them out and put them in a bucket with new water in it. They'll be safer there and they'll be okay. Put an air stone in it if you need to. They'll be good in there for days. Do not try to feed them. Wait until your tank is better and you can put them back into it. Then you can feed them. Do not put food in a sterile bucket full of water. It'll foul and it'll make matters worse. Your fish can starve for months without being very much affected. I've had fish go Jack Dempsey, 1 year, no food, perfectly healthy. Perfectly. You're not going to starve your fish. If they have a parasite, yeah, they'll dwindle down. A betta, if you don't feed a betta for 3 or 4 months, it's gonna curl up on itself. Put food in, it'll come right back. There are a few exceptions, but they're few and rare. And I'm not suggesting you don't feed your fish for a year. I'm suggesting if you have to not feed them for a week, please don't be concerned about it. For a month, don't be concerned about it. Now, baby fish are different. Baby fish have to eat. They don't have any fat built up. They have no reserves. But a fully mature fish that's got reserve, they can handle it. John Bradley had maybe 10 sticklebacks. They all died pretty close in time. Didn't realize they were at their lifespan. Added chems killed all the good bacteria. Yeah, that's probably absolutely right. Killifish only live for 2 years. They grow to maturity in a year. They breed the second year. By the 3rd year, they're gone. They're dead. So if you've got killies, you need to be spawning them. I'm hoping to get some. I really want to do killies. And they are in this area. They're brackish. But I've got a place I can collect them. I'm going to get some killies this spring. I guarantee it. Here's Lee. I love it. Father Fish told me to stop feeding my fish and grow them poop watch. For 6 months I didn't feed my fish, and yet they still pooped. I'm an expert on this. Just ask him. He absolutely is. Lee Wilcox certified the poop watch. We never had a poop watch before Lee engaged in a 6-month poop watch. Not a speck of food in that tank. Now, he did feed his frogs. I know he fed his frogs. And I heard those frogs have babies. Is that true? Did your frogs have babies? I don't even believe that. I've never had baby frogs. Passing wind. Got some plants and muds from my creek and got a surprise. I now have 4 leased killifish. Not sure what they'll eat being so small. They'll eat stuff tinier than them. Least killie, Formosa. Wonderful little fish. I got a bunch of them in this tank. Probably 20 of them. We've got a bunch of people over on on Discord who have least killies. Sweet, sweet little fish. Stallion fish keeping gardening. Getting 7-foot fish tank soon. Mercy. 10 millimeter. 10 millimeter. How deep is it? How tall? How tall is the tank? 10 millimeter. Is that ½ an inch? I don't remember. Millimeter equals inch. 1 millimeter to centimeter 1 millimeter equals 1/25 of an inch. So 10 millimeters is 10/25, that's 2/5. That's 2/5 is better than 1/4 inch. If it is under 20 inches, it'll be okay. Anything over 20 inches won't be thick enough. You're better than 1/4 of an inch. Just barely, but you're better than 1/4 of an inch. You're almost at 1/3. So yeah, it should be fine. Depending on the height. "12" by 6" tub. What should be the dirt to sand ratio? The dirt to sand ratio is always 2 to 1. the ratio per square inch, however, is a different matter. Anything under 48 square inches should not be more than 1 inch of dirt, 2 inches of sand. Anything over that can increase by a 1/2 inch per 25 square inches. So 100 square inches can have 2 inches of dirt and 4 inches of sand. Anything below 55 down to 10, 1 inch of sand, dirt, 2 inches of sand. Below 10, you need to go less. At 5 gallons, it needs to be 1/2 inch. Maybe a little better, but not much. 1/2 inch of soil, 1.5 inches. You don't want 1 inch, a little better. 1.5 inches of sand. If it's a bowl, like a 1 gallon bowl, just barely skim the surface, quarter of the bottom. 1/4 of an inch of dirt with 1 inch of sand. Like that. Poison arrow frogs. I've had a few. No, his are aquatic frogs, dwarf Africans, baby dwarf Africans. Honest to God. Wow, that is very impressive. They lay their eggs the way any other frog does, as a jelly mass at the top. I've made it easy to start a father fish tank. Soon we'll be selling fish as well, and aquarium starter kits with pre-seasoned sponge filters. This is a message I've been sent to tell. Also, make sure to tell them to join the Discord and ask their questions where they'll get answers. Something along those lines. Well, absolutely. Yeah, we're going to be doing live culture. We're going to be doing seeded sponges. All of that will be happening this spring. So it's going to be pretty exciting. Make sure you get that order in for plants. If I get more than 6 orders tonight, by tomorrow, I have to order tomorrow. If I get more than 6 orders, I will order extra to be able to fill the order. So if it goes over 6, I'll cover it. But I can't do that beyond tomorrow because the order has to be in tomorrow. These are high quality plants. They're thick, strong, very healthy, just really very exciting plants. What else? We got 5 minutes left. Lee loves lizards. Oh, I love lizards. Slow worms, yeah. He put a lizard in a fish tank. It was actually a salamander. It was a newt. It was a newt. Wasn't even a salamander. It was a newt. Called it a lizard. It wasn't a lizard, Lee. It was a newt. What is Granwood's talking about? Dender baits. Alright. You guys are doing it to me. But I'm losing shit. Alright. What? Favorite fish or heated tank? We did that. Oh, he's moved my... Why did we do this? Alright. I think we're about ready to... Love to see Father Fish show us how to set up a pallet. I got one I haven't done yet. I got it sitting here. I need to do it. I just haven't decided what to do with it. It's a little one, so... Need to do a bigger one. Moon boots! Hey, moon boots! Nice to see you. Channel and message are getting out there. We're working on it. We had a video a month ago that hit 50,000. That was pretty impressive. They can't get over 2 now. But we did something right. Never figured out what it was. It's hard to know when I do something right what it was. Alright, we're about done. Skink bathing on grass verges. Yeah, hit the thumbs up, guys. Oh, that's a Latin frog name. Thank you, Grant. Glad I didn't have to look it up. Nice to be here. Good to be here. Happy to spend this time with you. Luke is in the background managing this chaos. Thank you so much, Luke, for your discipline, your hard work, your focus. You're going the extra mile for Father Fish. Just certainly do really, really appreciate it. Add the plant order for the actual price. Yeah, if Janice, go ahead and add the plant order. And leave a little note whether you want, if it does charge you extra for shipping, I will either refund the difference or give you extra plants. Just make a note in the order and I'll take care of that. If you want views, just go on Facebook. Get people to talk smack about you. I know, it's true. Frogs, newts, squirrels, mice, shrews, hedgehogs. Hedgehogs! Hedgehogs! Oh, I love hedgehogs. One of my old-time favorite animals. I had hedgehogs loose in my shop that were breeding. And baby hedgehogs in my fish store. It was amazing. Alright guys, we're there. Thank you so much. God bless you all. I missed a bunch, but I can't do it all. Done what I can do. If I missed something, get on over to Discord and post it again, and it will be dealt with. I guarantee you. Come on over. We'll love having you. Moon Boots, come on over. I think we can handle you now. We can. I think we can. Be good to have you. Alright, we're done. God bless you all. Now I need to figure out. End stream, there it is. Right there. See you all. Bye for now. Love you.